What's going on, y'all? St. Piper here, aka Black Native. I'm feeling real good today, but I want to know how you doing. Good? All things working for your good? That's lovely, family. All things working for mine as well. Thanks for asking. In today's video, I'm going to speak on the Great Divide. I've been hearing this concept going around for a little minute now, but I'm going to break it down for y'all real quick. It's pretty simple. So take a walk with me up to get my pad. All right, I'm back. Got my pad. Got my pen. I'm gonna help y'all figure this out, okay? The Great Divide. What are we talking about? We're talking about a few things. Of course, we know the hierarchy of realms. We're gonna start with energy, all right? What does this mean energetically? I'm gonna teach y'all something that they taught y'all, but y'all didn't know they taught y'all, so y'all ain't been using it, if that makes sense. I'm gonna take my time with this one, because it's extremely important. A good sister that I went to school with since elementary school asked me this in my DMs on Instagram. So this is for you, Angela. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna make sure I take my time with this and explain it as best I can. So what we starting with? We're gonna name this episode The Great Divide. See, the Great Divide. When we talking about this, we're gonna be talking about energy. Energy is neither positive or negative. It just is, all right? High vibration and low vibration, but it's not positive or negative. It just depends on your perspective. It just is. Energy is. Again, I keep saying that. Energy is. That's what it is, okay? So we're gonna start off. They taught y'all this, but they didn't really teach y'all this. Absolute value. How many people remember absolute value? Who remember that? Absolute value. Who remember absolute value from high school or middle school or elementary school, depending on what state you're from? I'm from Louisiana, so things ain't come that easy. Absolute value. Remember the two bars? All right. Remember these two bars right there? And whatever you put inside of it, you find the absolute value of it. So let's do a little catch up, all right? What's the absolute value? So it's just the absolute value. So what's the absolute value of -2? Anything you put in it, in these bars, you find the absolute value of it. So the absolute value of -2 equals what? 2, right? It equals 2. If I put -10 inside of these absolute value bars, right? If I put number 10 inside of these absolute value bars, it's gonna be 10. If I put -10, it's gonna be 10. If I put 11, it's gonna be 11. If I put -11, it's gonna be 11. Who remember this? When they used to show you this? We talking about integers, right? They used to come out with the lines. We were talking about integers, right? And they used to come out with this like timeline looking thing, right? I forget what it's called, but they used to come out with this, let's say, a line, whatever. It used to be like that. You got 0. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You had 1, 2, 3, and then you had -1, 2, 3. They'll ask you, what's the absolute value of -3? And the answer would be 3, right? Because the value is the distance from 0. The distance from 0 is the value. So when we're talking about a great divide, this is all gonna make sense in a little bit, all right? Absolute value is the key to understanding the great divide. Y'all like, man, what is he doing? Where is he going with this? Y'all showed me this, all right? So I don't know if you're gonna find no YouTube or no Instagram person showing you this. Y'all showed me this, all right? So that's why it might not make sense at first, but keep listening, keep watching, keep learning, all right? This for my black natives. This ain't for nobody trying to be trendy. I'm giving you the answers, the real answers. I ain't trying to be trendy, all right? I probably ain't gonna never get 1,000 views on this video, but I don't care. This is the absolute truth, all right? What is the Great Divide about? Right now, we're in the Great Divide. All right, I'm gonna erase all of this and go to the next point. But y'all got absolute value. I'm going somewhere with this. Keep listening, keep learning, pay attention. All right, here we go. Why is that important? Because when you think about the Great Divide, it's a division. The Great Divide is an energetic division, all right? Numbers are the closest things to represent energy. Just numbers, absolute value, energy. That's why we're starting at. So it's a divide between energies. But guess what? What goes around comes around. So when we're dealing with energy, you gotta understand, karma is always in effect. Every action deserves an equal and opposite reaction. Got that? Every action deserves an equal and opposite reaction. All right, so we're dealing with energy, all right? And what goes around comes around. So imagine this, right? Let's say we're dealing with this. Let's say we're dealing with this, y'all, where this is the beginning of time, where all energy is source. A great divide, right, happens from this point. So let's say we're right here, and then a great divide happens, right? This side is negative. This side is positive going this way. That's positive energy going this way. But then this side is negative energy going this way, all right? All of these, they're going to separate so far in the opposite direction that they're going to end up coming together. And that's what this represents. The Great Divide is about the ending and rebirth of energy. All right, it's about going back into another shape of oneness. I call it a shape of oneness because it's still oneness, but it's just going to appear differently. All right, so you got to understand, when it deals with absolute value, these numbers don't exist. These is just 100. So you're gonna go 100 steps this way, and you go 100 steps this way, even though it's negative. But at the end of the day, you're gonna end up back here. And what's another name for? So if this is the absolute value, right, of this 100 is 100, and the absolute value of this negative 100 is still 100. The absolute value of 0 is 0. So what's the absolute value of the exact opposite of 0? Infinity, 0. The Great Divide is about how we getting back to source. It's about how things are becoming more polarizing and more extreme. It's about how duality is becoming more and more tangible. We can experience the duality more easily these days because it's more apparent, because we're splitting, but we're just splitting to come back together in another way. All right. Again, there's a great divide of energy. There's a great divide of energy, right? And it has a lot to do with absolute value. Numbers represent energy, all right? I already explained this, but the great divide energetically speaking about the polarization of energies and how the polarization is becoming more and more extreme. Another way of speaking on this is that people are choosing sides. You either pick one side or the other, right? You either hot or you cold, but if you lukewarm, you're gonna be spit out, all right? You either hot or you cold, all right? And in these times, things are gonna get even more hot and even more cold. In these times, things are gonna get even more low frequency and even more high frequency, creating that divide, all right? When we're talking about the frequencies, people are gonna become very high in frequency, people are gonna become very low in frequency. And that's going to keep happening until there's another shape, form of oneness, okay? You got to understand that. You got to see this, man. All right? You see that, y'all? Y'all see that? That all speaks to duality. When you divide something, it's going to be duality in play. There's going to be duality in play. We all know that duality doesn't speak of things not being the same. It just speaks on the perspective of the same thing. Two different perspectives of the same thing. So there's two different perspectives of oneness. So it's still oneness. Here we go. We coming back here. 0 and infinity are both 0. 100 and negative 100 is both 0. Absolute value. All right, let's go to the next point. That was energetically. Now let's speak on spiritually. Spiritually, people are going to become more and more spiritually endowed with their abilities because the frequencies are getting higher, right? The frequency, another way for me to say this, the frequencies are getting more extreme. So I don't want to say they're getting higher because there's no high and there's no low. It's just the number of steps away from 0. Okay, let me draw this up here so we never forget, so we always remember. All right. 0, infinity, negative infinity. There's no high or low. There's never a negative or a positive. It's just duality, okay? So spiritually, some people's abilities are going to become more and more powerful because they're going in a positive way. When it comes to their frequencies and their energy, they having more and more energy. And some people are going to have less and less abilities because they're having less and less lower. They're having lower frequencies or less, more steps in a negative direction when it comes to their spirituality. So they're going to have less and less abilities when it comes there. They're going to have less and less power. They're going to be more weak when it comes to their abilities, all right? So in the end times, they speak about how certain people will have more and more gifts, and they'll discover their gifts and be able to use them and control them and use them for whatever they will. But they also speak about the blind and the weak and the people who will be tortured and helpless and who will need the more powerful spiritual beings to save them. They're talking about this. They're talking about the great divide. There's a great divide when it comes to the aspects of spirituality and energy, all right? This is super important because you have to see that there's a choice in this. This represents choice as well. What's your choice? What's your choice? Are you choosing to be not as strong, or are you choosing to be as strong as possible spiritually? All right, let's go on to mentally. It's all about frequency, man. It's all about the frequency. It's all about your choice. Mentally, people are going to experience more and more mental blocks. The more negative they go, right? The more negative they go, the more mental blocks they will experience. The more positive this way they go, the more mental clarity and the more intelligent and the more answers they'll find when they meditate, and the more peace, the more people say peace, but the more wholeness and the more complete completeness they'll experience when they're dealing with themselves. They'll be having less and less manic episodes. They'll have less and less cognitive dissonance. But those who neglect to go in a positive direction and they continue to go this way, right, they'll experience a different reality. They're creating their reality by choosing this perspective. You understand that? I'm creating my reality by choosing this perspective. I'm choosing more physical wellness, more spiritual abilities, more mental completeness and wholeness, more energetic potentness. I'm allowing myself to be the stronger self that I can be, right? So mentally, this will display in different conditions and states of mind. What's another thing? What is all of this manifesting? Right? This is all manifesting. Oh, my bad. I skip emotionally. Emotionally, people will experience, that's what I meant to say. Emotionally, people will experience more of a happiness or more of a sense of sadness, more of a sense of gratitude, or more of a sense of jealousy and envy. It's about the duality, but it's going to become more and more extreme. So some people are going to be extremely happy, extremely intelligent, and extremely spiritually gifted, while other people are going to be extremely unhealthy mentally, extremely depressed, extremely poor, extremely weak, extremely helpless. That's the only two. So when you hear, I'm going to get to that. You see what's going on now. But you got to understand, this is not new. This has been happening. And I'm going to show you. All right? Look. Now we on physically. Some people are going to be physically strong. Some people are going to die from diseases and sicknesses. So we're going to put health. Some people are going to experience extreme physical health versus what? Illness, man. I'm writing this down because you need to see these things for them to stick in your mind. I know you could just hear me, but it's about writing things down and seeing it. Some people are going to be extremely healthy physically, extremely intelligent, extremely complete, extremely powerful, extremely confident. And other people are going to be beaten down, depressed, sick, weak, powerless, energetically inept. That's the difference. They're going to be some people who are going to be leveling up and some people who are going to be leveling down. But there's nobody that's going to stay at zero. Understand that. It's a great divide. No one's staying at zero. You either going up or you going down. Because it's about the dimension. This dimension itself won't exist. So you can't stay here. The dimension itself is transforming. All right? So the dimension itself is splitting. That's what I'm getting to. I kind of jumped ahead, but if I do every realm of this, man, come on, y'all. All right, and the last realm is financially. Financially, some people are going to be extremely wealthy, poor. Duality. So in this great divide, what are you choosing? Because guess what? One of these is going to belong to you. You're either going to get poor or more wealthy. You're only going to get healthier or more sick. But guess what? When you're making this divide, when you choosing the side you want to be on, you either going to get all the good or all of the bad. You can't say, oh, I'm going to get healthier, but then I'm going to get poorer. That's not how that works. It's a great divide. All things negative one way, all things positive the other way. You taking steps this way, you're going to get what's over there. You taking steps this way, you're going to get what's over there. My bad, my allergies are messing with me really bad. But I'm all right. I'm cleansing right now, so a lot of that is coming out. So when you hear people talking about the financial gap, the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer, that's evident. Remember, I told y'all the physical and material reality. The material reality equals financial reality. Some people are those realities show you what has already happened in the higher realms of reality, and they give you a strong clue on what's happening in the higher realms. All right, so if everybody was down here was getting richer, then that means we are elevating, but it's not showing that. So that means we're not all elevating. It's simple. All right, now let's get to the biggest part. Everybody who stayed to this point, you deserve what you're about to get. Whoever didn't, they didn't deserve it. That's fine. It's a long video, but I told y'all that at the beginning, so whatever. Look, I just did all of the realms of this dimension, right? If all of the realms of the dimension or some people like to say world are dividing, what that mean? That's right. The dimension itself is dividing. That's why you can't remain at zero. The dimension itself is growing. The dimension itself is growing, man. The world is transforming. The dimension itself is growing and transforming. That's what's happening. That's what the great divide is. You choose which way you want to go, because growth happens both ways. Duality. I can become more and more evil. That's growth. I can become more and more good. That's still growth. But I'm choosing my life by doing those things. As I level up into a stronger being, I have a greater capacity for evil and good. Why you think Yah can kill a whole nation, but at the same time he could save a whole nation? Duality. Jesus was a powerful being, right? He had, even though he was saving people's lives, he was destroying a society. You gotta see that for those people who are Christians. He was destroying the Roman society, right? But he was building up another society. The more power you have, the higher level of being you are, right? That's your capacity for either good or evil. Absolute value. What is your value and what direction you want to go with it? But it's all about your value. Now let's get to how we relate to this as humans. They put it right in our faces. Now I'm gonna hurry up and do this because it's getting kind of long. But I need you to see this. This is the most important video I've probably done so far. This one and the one about how the Black Plague. Tell me where you've seen this before. 100. Negative 100. Infinity. Where have you seen this before? That's the double helix. It represents the same thing. It represents the way humans either evolve upwards or evolve downwards. Why you think vaccines exist? Why you think things exist? Look at the double helix. Look. Let's do it. 0, 100, 100. Right there. It's right here. This, what I just explained to you, is literally right here. Our DNA represents the Great Divide. It represents our choice. It represents evolution because of it represents our direct connection to the dimension. We are the dimension. And the dimension is us, is within us. You go this way, you at 100. You going up. You go this way from infinity, you going down. Down, up. That's the way this thing works. It's all about perspective, man. To me, this is going up, right? But if I flip this and I have a warped perspective, that's going down. So when somebody has an opposite purpose from you, they're trying to go in the opposite direction in order to evolve. You gotta understand, at every new levels, new devils. New levels, new devils. There's a devil evolved just enough to make you stronger or weaker. And there's an angel evolved just to make you stronger or weaker. So if I'm Superman, that's gonna be a villain at the next level just as strong as me to make me stronger or to make me go down. And if I'm Bane, that's gonna be a Batman at that level to defeat me or to allow me to run all over him. Again, what is your perspective? But a great divide is happening, all right? This is my perspective. But those who oppose me, this is their perspective. We're all evolving. There's no wrong or right when it comes to this. I just want to be going up and have a higher frequency. It feels better to me. I like it. I love it. I like it and I love it, y'all. That's the great divide. Thank you all the black natives who've been watching this. There was a lot of information in this video. I hope you value it and use it. Apply it to your lives. I love y'all. St. Pipe here, aka Black Native. Keep going. Subscribe, leave a comment, leave a like.